Welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show with Ponca City Public Schools. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. This is our monthly visit with the superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Superintendent Shelley Arrott. And Superintendent Arrott, a lot of things to talk about in the October board meeting, and a lot of very interesting things. And we're going to talk ACT scores coming up. We're also going to talk about recognition of several events that'll be on the calendar, and Superintendent Arrott will fill us in on those details, plus a resolution to the K County Election Board calling for an annual election. We'll talk about that. But right now, let's start with the Employee of the Month and the Friend of Education Awards. It was the first presentation of this school year, and that's always a fun thing.
The Employees of the Month and the Friends of Education are always exciting awards because our board definitely wants to recognize those employees and those volunteers who go above and beyond to make a difference for our students. And we typically start these in October because as we're starting out the school year, it gives us time for our people and our volunteers to interact with our students. And our first certified Employee of the Month was Jared Freeman. He's our athletic director for Ponca City Public Schools, and he does an amazing job. He's super organized, he's visible, he takes care of business and goes above and beyond for our athletes and for all of our students for that matter. Our support person of the month was Rebecca Higgins, and Rebecca is our registrar at Poe High, so she keeps everything transcripted and keeps that office running. And then our Friend of Education, which was the volunteer, someone who does not work for the district, happens to have been for October the Cherokee Strip Credit Union. And they are the Pie Partners for Liberty Elementary, and they not only support Liberty with items or supplies that they may need, but they spend countless hours volunteering to work with our students.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're amazing.
Very special presentations always. So, and this, of course, being the first one of the school year, there will be many more of those throughout the school year. And we'll be talking more about those special recognitions and awards throughout the year on this show right here. It is the Board Wrap-Up Show, and special presentation, the Liberty Orff Ensemble presentation. Tell us about this. This is pretty cool.
Well, you know, I think we mentioned last month or the month before that we want to have students present to our board each month, and that's why we're here for our students. So we're going to have a group come out and showcase their talents or tell us about something that they're doing. And this month we had upper elementary students from Liberty Elementary who are members of the Orff Ensemble. And let me tell you a little bit about what Orff is. It's a way of teaching music where students engage their mind and their body through dancing, through singing, through playing instruments. And the Orff method often uses instruments like the xylophone and the glockenspiel. So we had our students from Liberty playing the xylophones and the glockenspiel, and they sang to us.
Wow.
And it was amazing. That boardroom was packed. It was standing room only. Parents who came out and supported their kids, and our board members were super pleased. They love that we're bringing in students, and we also gave the students an opportunity to talk. It's good experience, public speaking experience for our students as well.
Certainly.
They were under the direction of Miss Sarah Orr. She is the music teacher at Liberty and Roosevelt.
Very nice. And you're looking forward to more presentations? And
we are. We've got one lined up every month.
Every month, and we'll be talking about that, of course, on the Board Wrap-Up Show. And it's really interesting. Are you clued into what it will be, or is it just a surprise for the board members?
Well, I've scheduled through December, and
good.
what we try to do is correlate an activity that may be occurring at that time.
I see.
So.
I see. Very good. Well, ACT scores. That is a big topic, and the 2017 ACT scores have come in. Also, college and career readiness assessment, state scoring reset. We're going to talk about that. And one book, one district. Let's start with ACT scores.
Okay, well, as you know, you probably took the ACT, Sean. It is the assessment that gives us information about college preparedness of our students, and our 2017 results reflected the achievement of our 2017 student graduates over time, for as many times as they took the ACT test. And historically, we have always scored above the state average, and those results held true this year as well. So the composite score for our district was 20.6, cumulative score for our graduating seniors, average, and the state average cumulative score for 2017 seniors was 19.4. So we were pleased that we are above the state average, and not only on composites on all the core, but we were at least a point above each core state average.
Well, okay then. A college and career readiness assessment state scoring reset. What exactly does that mean?
Okay, I want to start out with a little history here.
Okay.
Prior to school year 2016, our standards have changed 3 times in the state within the last 10 years. Going back 10 years, we've had 4 sets of standards. So we had our past standards, priority academic student skills. We changed to Common Core state standards. You probably remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Common Core state standards were repealed. We went back to pass. This is all 10 years prior to 2015.
Wow.
So in 2016, new standards were developed, more complex standards called the Oklahoma Academic Standards. And the reason these were developed is if we look at national comparisons, Oklahoma students were proficient, but they weren't prepared for college. So, hence the reason for the new complex standards, and they're not more difficult, it's just requiring students to think at a more difficult level. So before we had these new standards, we measured with an assessment that just measured minimum competency.
Right.
Okay, they may have been on grade level, but compared to national standards, our students weren't prepared for college in Oklahoma. In fact, there was some research done that 39% of all of our graduates had to take some type of remedial class in college,
Right.
which costs Oklahoma parents over $22 million for these remedial classes that did not bear college credit. So the students got no college. So we have now developed the Oklahoma Academic Standards. We taught those last year. Now, we couldn't assess with the minimum criteria test. So we had a more complex assessment that our students took in April of 2017. Oklahoma districts received those results today. The information will be provided to parents sometime in November. That gives us a chance to desegregate our data and see where we are.
Okay.
So one thing that we have to remember is the comparability.
Right.
We were measuring minimum competency with OCCT, our previous testing program. Our new testing program is college and career readiness. And with that, we're going to norm those tests with national benchmarks such as ACT, SAT, and the NAEP test. So, here's what all that means. It's going to be a jolt for Oklahoma across the state.
Yeah, certainly.
So, our test score ratings will go down significantly across the state, but we can't compare those to the minimum competency test.
Right.
There is no comparison. Our teachers work hard and they want to see growth every year, but it's not going to happen because you can't compare apples to oranges.
Sure.
It's going to be hard on some of our parents whose students scored at the advanced level on a minimum competency assessment.
Right.
So we're going to have to inform and educate and reassure our parents that in Oklahoma, we all want our students to be able to compete nationally. But for this benchmark year, our scores can't be compared to those minimum
Right.
competency
Right.
assessments.
After a period of settling, in your opinion, is this a positive progression? Is this a better system? I mean, we're talking about four big changes over the last decade. What's your opinion?
Without a doubt. Now, are the standards going to make all the difference? They will be a part. Our teachers and the relationships that they build with those kids are a significant factor too, the skills of the teachers.
Right.
Yes, I think it's the direction we need to go. 45 states have changed to more complex standards since 2011. And now Oklahoma did it in 2016. We need to keep up with the national average. It is good for our students, but change is hard, and those rates of preparedness, proficiency versus preparedness are going to drop significantly, as in 30 to 40 points. So we are going to educate and inform and reassure our teachers,
Right.
and educate and inform our parents, and keep our community informed. And what we want our parents to know the skills of our students are the same. They're still working hard and continually growing, but this year is going to be a total reset. We can't compare our scores from our state assessments to our scores from our state assessments last year, because there is no comparison.
Right.
And from the words of our state superintendent of Common Ed, it is going to be a jolt for all of Oklahoma. But we are going to try to stay ahead of that jolt, talk about the positives, and reassure that we can't compare a minimum criteria test
Right.
to a nationally normed
Yeah.
test.
Well, like you said, apples to oranges.
Won't work.
It's not the same thing. Well, as we know, the education process starts young, and getting kids excited about reading is so incredibly crucial to their educational development. And One Book, One District, it's something that we all get excited about, The Adventures of a South Pole Pig. And this book is a pretty cool book.
It is a cool book. You know, we've completed 7 titles prior to this title for One Book, One District. And so this is our 8th time to participate in this initiative. And, you know, everybody likes to talk about books they're reading, if people are reading the same book.
Certainly.
And if all of our schools in our community are reading the same book, that gives us a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know the importance of reading, and it's a time for our families to read together. In our schools, it's amazing. They go all out. They plan activities based on the title of the book, and they create anything. It could be anything from an art project to a creative writing project. They decorate their buildings. They have assemblies, and our community really likes to get involved. And as you mentioned, the title of our book is happens to be The Adventures of a South Pole Pig, and it's Flora the pig, and she's very adventuresome. And I'll just give the community a little premise of the story. Flora sees a sled dog, and she decides she wants to be a sled pig. So the next thing we know, she's on a ship to Antarctica, and she participates in the most exhilarating adventure of her life. So join in and read with us. We have a bookmark that talks about the activities, the daily activities. It may be downloaded from our website at www.pcps.us, and it's a great initiative, and we've had a wonderful response from our school and community.
Yeah, all of the elementary schools participating, and a lot of folks in the community reading along. I'm one of them.
We love the little morning show that KPNC and KLOR do. You guys are
it's
funny when you talk about the.
It's fantastic.
It's really entertaining when you talk about our book that we're reading together.
Well, we're happy to do it, and we're excited that the kids are excited about this book. And we were talking with Terry Vogel, the director of curriculum.
She was on Wildcat Chat.
The other day we had her on Wildcat Chat on the radio, and one of the questions I asked her, I said, what kind of a challenge is that to find a book that can be enjoyed and experienced by such a wide age range? And she talked a little bit about that, but You got to be proud of this election, and
It is.
really
It
it's
is.
a good story and a lot of good things for kids to learn and take from this book.
That's right, and we are going to participate in another One Book, One District in the spring. So we'll have a fall initiative and a spring initiative. So if our community hasn't gotten involved in our fall initiative, stay tuned for the spring. It's a great program.
Yeah, it really is. One Book, One District. Now, of course, there was some business, some general business at the October Board of Education meeting for Ponca City Public Schools. Approval of agreements and budget, general operations, and all of that is pretty routine
Those
stuff.
were routine agreements, something that we do every month just to continue on with our operations. Nothing significant or new.
Now, the board did take action on recognition of several different events. We want to talk about American Education Week. What is this?
Well, American Education Week is the week of November 13th, and it's a time for the public to celebrate public education and honor those people who are making a difference in the lives of students every single day. And this was actually founded by the National Education Association, and we follow along. Our board is recognizing that week, and we always recognize and celebrate public ed, but more of an emphasis this week in drawing in the community in that process.
Very good. National American Indian Heritage Week.
That's right. We have a week specifically designated, and that's the week of November 13th. However, we are going to celebrate the entire month of November, and we're going to recognize those significant contributions made by our first Americans in developing this great country. We will celebrate the history, the heritage, their intercultural tribal cultures. We'll participate in activities just to make more of an awareness of the American Indian and the Alaska Native people who made such an impact in the founding of this great country.
That's fantastic. Celebrate Freedom Week, November 5th through the 11th. Tell us
That's
about
right.
this.
All Oklahoma public schools will observe Celebrate Freedom Week the week of November 5th, which coincides with Veterans Day. And it's to help better educate our students and our community about the sacrifices made for the freedom of this country and the values on which the U.S. was founded.
Very nice. Well, we are in Oklahoma Education Support Week this week, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
And tell us about what is Support Week.
Well, Governor Mary Fallin proclaimed the week of October 9th as the Oklahoma Educational Support Week. And we have over 700 employees, and we have about 350 teachers, and of this 10 seconds we have about 392 support employees.
Wow.
And our support employees are those who are doing the work behind the scenes so that our teachers can teach. These include anything from our maintenance people to our child nutrition program personnel, our transportation personnel, our classroom personnel. Without a doubt, we couldn't make it without them. And I say this often, you're only as good as the people who surround you, and we have some great people. And in our particular building, we've been supporting our superhero support personnel people with a superhero themed treat every single day. And they've enjoyed it.
Well, now I understand better because I'm walking into the studio here and I see the superhero themed stuff in the room down the hall, and it piqued my curiosity a little bit. Now I know.
That's it. You'll have to stop by for a snack.
Absolutely.
We've got the West conference room all set up, and we're honoring the people that make a difference to us every single day. Sometimes you just get so busy that you don't tell them. We try to do that, but this is their week. Now, all the schools are honoring and all the departments are honoring their support personnel. That's just what we're doing in this building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody kind of has their own twist on how they celebrate.
Absolutely. Well, the school district wouldn't run without all
Without a
of
doubt.
those support
Our
personnel.
people are great.
Absolutely. Well, and the final thing we want to talk about on this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show for the October Board of Education meeting for Ponca City Public Schools is something pretty important. It was a resolution to the K County Election Board. What was this all about?
Well, every year we have one board member whose term is up. And basically, this is a resolution for the annual election of this board member. And the board member that is up for re-election or whose term ends is from Ward 3, which is kind of like the Woodlands Elementary area. The current board member is Judy Troop. She's been on the board for several years, and the filing period, if those who are interested that may want to run for this office, is December 4th through December 6th of this year. The election will be in February, which happens to be on February 13th of 2018. And once the K County Election Board certifies that a candidate has been elected, they will serve at the next board meeting once it's been certified by the K County election. So
All right, so fantastic. December 4th through the 6th.
that's the filing period.
That's the filing period if you want to file to become a Board of Education member. Those are the dates. And if you need more information, of course, you can contact the K County Election Board, contact the
Or the
Ponca
district.
City, the district, Ponca City Public Schools. They'll be happy to give you details on how that works. Well, this has been the Board Wrap-Up Show. We talked about a lot of things, and we come to you every month, and we appreciate you watching. And Superintendent Shelley Arrott, amazing work as always. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Sean.
It's Shelley Arrott, Superintendent, Ponca City Public Schools. Until next time, thank you for watching.